Hello, welcome back. So this is we're building Brawl. There we go. That's the face. So last we left is we were putting together the face, and so we've got that going on. And then we are going to, now that we aligned everything together, object group. Now we've got this gray thing going on. We've got all these little shapes right here. We've got that white little shape. Now remember that little shape that I told you about? Well, look at it. It's right here. See, that's why it's important to cut it in specific ways so that way you can fidget with it. And I'm not going to make this guy be, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift and then because I want this schematic. So I'm going to make a copy of it so I can work with it because I want that particular dimension because that's the dimension that fits inside the arm of Bruticus. So we're going to pull this back a little bit, and then we're going to pull this down. And as you can tell, he's got a gray undertone. So we're going to give him a gray undertone. There we go. There we go. So we've got that. We're going to pull this up a little bit more, and then we're going to bring this over here. It has the arrows. It kind of guides you. So this is the other way. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip it, and then we've got that. Now that could be fine if I wanted that to be his head. I could just be like, okay, that sounds great. Perfect. But we're going to add a few more little touches. And what you do is, in order to hold it and make it so that it's straight, you hold shift, and then there we go, you've got that. And then I'm going to put this guy right here, and it's going to be right behind there, and it's going to come up all the way to the side, and then I'm going to bring him all the way to the bottom. Then I'm going to go this side, then I'm going to go object, transform, reflect, vertical, and then I'm going to go do that. Okay, so there we go. So now with these particular pieces, I'm going to select them all together. I'm just going to make sure that they're aligned. Then I'm going to change them to color. Maybe I'm going to make it a little bit of a darker gray, so that way they stand out. So there we go. We've got those two pieces. We're going to go back. We're going to see that. I'm not going to build a lot of this stuff right here. I think it's just a little too time consuming for the efforts. Or perhaps, let's see, in order to give it, let's see, and then we're going to use our scale. We're going to use our scale tool, and then we're going to use, let's say, 90%. Let's see what 90% looks like. 90%, we're going to put it right here. And you can barely tell. So now what we got, oh, no, we don't want that. We want to move this shape over here. So what I want to do is I want to group, these are aligned to the side, these are aligned to the bottom, this is aligned to the center because of the arrow thing. And then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to group all of this together, object group, and then I'm going to put this, it's going to go somewhere, it's in the object range, bring forward. Let's see, and then object arrange, bring forward one more time. Now where did it go? Computer. See, it's those see it's in front of the thing, but let's say we're gonna make it a little bit of a lighter color. We're gonna make it like a light. See, it's gotta. There we go. We're gonna make it. And then object arrange, bring forward, and then it's still in the object arrange. But if I go to bring to front, look what happens. See? Then an object arrange, send backward, it's somewhere hidden in there. So I'm having issues with that. Now, what I could do is, and what I perhaps should have done in my workflow, is I should have first built the outside and then decided. So I'm going to ungroup everything. I'm going to move this. I'm going to move this. This was grouped together earlier, so that should be fine. Then I'm going to put this right up against here. And then before I do that, I'm going to group this object group. So then I'm going to move my thing in there. Object, arrange, bring to front. So now we've got, and then I'm going to pull it in a little bit, and then I'm going to pull it in a little bit, so that way, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to align it centered. So there we go. Then I'm going to take this head, and then I'm going to put it, oh, but first, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do object, group. And then I'm going to take the head, and I'm going to put it somewhere in there. And then I'm going to object, arrange, bring to front. There we go. And then I'm going to select everything together, and then I'm going to center it. Wait. No, because the other things were not grouped. That's odd. Okay, so let's see. Okay, object, group. You got to make sure that everything's grouped. And then now we're going to put that forward. And then we're going to center it. There we go. It's centered. And then now object group. So there we go. So now we're going to bring this. It's towards the center right there. And then object arrange, bring to front. So we've got that going on. Now we could finish there. And let's see his forehead. I'm going to go ahead and finish there, because he's going to have a shrunken head, so it don't really matter that much. So that's how I'm going to roll. So we're going to move these away for another element that we're doing. This is the body. This is we no longer need this head, because that was the last head we were using. And now we're going to look at the dimensions of this. We're going to look at the transform. It's 581, 6284. Let's double check that that's the same dimensions as the other ones. At least in the width. It's got to be at least in the width. And it looks like, let's see, object, arrange, center back. It looks like it is. It looks pretty dead on. So it can be a little bit off. It doesn't have to be exactly the same color, because when I do the actual, when I put the slit, it's actually the way that, so that it fits in there. So we got 581, 6284. So 581, 6284. So we're going to, this whole, so then we're going to go to transform, unlink, and then we're going to go 0.581, 0.6284, right? And then 0.6284. Voila, there we go. We have our head. So there we go. We shrunk it. We're going to put it in the body. We no longer need this head right here. We've got this body right here. This magic movement. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the what is it? You know, the tank arms. So when for the tank arms, I'm going to utilize this rounded corners tool. So there we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build circles, because tanks have circles. And then so I'm going to build one circle, then another circle, then another circle, then another circle, then another circle. I'm going to select them all. I'm going to make them white. And then, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one circle and then copy it. So we're going to look at the wheels of Swindle. We're going to see, how do they look like? They've got a little center. We've got a little spot on the center. You can get really specific with all of this. But for the time being, it tells me it's in the center. I'm going to go with the factor that it's in the center. And I'm going to go ahead and leave it like that. Very simple, very quick. But I am going to make the wheels gray, and I'm going to make the inside white.